All right, thank you for having me. My name is Ofuma Agali. I do creative writing when I have the time. Sometimes we struggle to find the time, but when I do find the time, I write poetry, I write fiction. And I have 4 books, 2 collection of poems and 2 collection of short stories completed. And then I have ongoing works, which includes um, ongoing work in novel, in other short stories and other collection of poems. Yeah. And then for every other thing, I'm a public relations consultant. And I'm here today in your midst. I'm going to read the poem Africa, My Africa by David Diop. Africa, my Africa. Africa of proud warriors in ancestral savannas. Africa of whom my grandmother sings on the banks of the distant river. I have never known you, but your blood flows in my veins, your beautiful black blood that irrigates the fields, the blood of your sweat, the sweat of your work, the work of your slavery. Africa, tell me, Africa, is this your back that is bent? This back that breaks under the weight of humiliation? This back trembling with red scars and saying yes to the whip under the midday sun? But a grave voice answers me, impetuous child, that tree, young and strong, that tree over there, splendidly alone amidst white and faded flowers. This your Africa springing up anew, springing up patiently, obstinately, whose fruit, bit by bit, acquires the bitter taste of liberty. And then I read a second one titled The Tiger by William Blake, and it is taken from his collection titled Songs of Experience. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, with immortal hand or eye, could frame thy fearful symmetry. In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of the heart? And when thy heart began to beat, thy dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain, what the furnace was by thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp, dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? And then the third one, I'll read from Maik Nwosu's collected poems, stanzas from the underground. And I'll read I'll read excerpts from a poem titled Elegy for Tweets, originally published in his collection Sons of Kush. The poem has an introduction. It says, an introduction which is a quotation from Thomas Gray. It says, full many a gem of purest ray siren, the dark unfathomed caves of ocean bear. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen and waste its sweetness on the desert air. Shall I roll on tons of glass or bury myself in loud sacks so you will see my tears? Shall I drain a decanter of amen so that you will know my sorrow? I listened to the old woman, the bearer of the world. My dress is the color of soot. I hearkened to the old man, the seer of the dead. My head is shorn of plums. But can a mirror tell the color of the wind, or grandfather clocks the age of a second? Why then seek the color of sorrow in the gravity of smoke, or in multiple signatures in the condolence register, or believe that because her earrings were the daughter of a king's, even a mile of grief is but a pittance? Is the gloss of a coffin the price of the corpse? What epitaph is the monstrosity of a tombstone? The glistering casket, the bed of wreaths, a galaxy of chandeliers. There she lies, like a surfeited queen mother. Here I sit, like a stone Buddha, deaf on the trumpets, blind to the spectrum, dumb to the dust masquerades, but proper in everything else, like the in-laws of a king, while still scan my face for nuances. Prise open my heart instead, and probe the depths of my whirlpool. It is in the heart that the heart mourns the heart. The memory of the dead is the memory of the living. The monologue of the dead is the monologue of the unborn. Gone Friday candlelights, Saturday sapphires, Sunday regattas, still the color of violets, the rhythm of songbirds, the panache of peacocks. I have become a prisoner of memories. My heart is the throttle of a lover, but my mind the brake of a philosopher. If I tumble or search for the king, for the daughter of a king, whose chariot was the evening star, whose color was the glow of the full moon, the gazelle of an island sun, whose quills were tongues of gold, what shall become of me at the funeral of twigs? The source of every traveler is the earth. The destination of every wayfarer is forever. How do I weep for the virgin, the heroic survivor of an extinct race, interred by the price of insulin, or the quicksands of Morocco, the matchboxes of Soweto, the rustling peaks of Harlem, whose dream died on the cold steps? They too could have been the siblings of monarchs, the Meisuya who roast his face as lamb chops, the forest queen pejored by colorful rags, the Dandoko who was once a budding professor. But the sum of a twig's life is a litany of simple impossibilities from the cradle to the grave, a panther's trudge that terminates in the necropolis of the backyard, without anklets, with neither drumflakes nor redemptive floods. Herein then lies the twin tragedy of these rites of passage, that the life of a twig is a twig's sentence, and the death its trial. The end of the poem. I actually said I'll read excerpts, but I ended up reading the whole poem. All right, so the first poem I read, Africa, My Africa by David Diop, is a poem that has always rang in our ears right from the days of secondary school. David Diop personifying Africa and trying to bring to fore what he believed Africa represents and the latent strength that Africa possesses and the multiple potentials that the continent is yet to unleash. And it's always a nice read at any time and any day. And then William Blake's poem, The Tiger. I read it because it reminds of poems that we could call archaic poems, which reads in archaic ways, where you see the use of the words thou and thy and all that. But it brings to fore the beauty of creation, the mystery of creation, the supernatural force behind creating everything, from how God has created it to how we human also create things. And then the third poem that I read, Elegy for Twig by Maik Nwosu, I actually read because in my own poetry, Maik Nwosu's poem has been a personal influence to me. He tells his poem takes you on a journey, and then you move from one place, from one aspect of life to another, as we have seen. And this has actually done that, as we have listened. So these are the poems that I love. There are so many of them that I love. It's difficult to pick any for this program, but these three are the ones I picked today for this session. I hope you enjoyed it. And once again, like I said, my name is Ofuma Agali, creative writer and public relations consultant. Thank you.